start. Let me give you a little bit of introduction also. All right. I think we are live now. Hi guys, welcome to the session. Welcome on board Anirudh and Amit, these two students of SIDTM. I'm going to have a quick chat with you all. Jahan pe we're going to talk about how do you prepare for, a SNAP as an examination for the next 60 odd days. मेरे ख्याल से 60 दिन बचे हैं पहले attempt के लिए. And, we're also going to be talking about SIDTM. We're also going to be talking about the placements, the pedagogy, the kind of exposures that you guys will be getting at SIDTM. More than that, just to give you guys a little bit of introduction. So C2C Mentors has started this series almost on a daily basis. आप लोग देखोगे कि we are interacting with someday it's going to be SIDTM, then someday it's going to be SIBM, SIB, HRD. So we're going to do these sessions on a daily basis. Today we kickstart with SIDTM. So Anirudh and Amit, welcome on board. I will be sharing, I'm just going to make you host. You can share the screen with audience and we will kickstart. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Please share the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so Amrit is co-host and Anirudh is also co-host now. Okay, and the guys who are watching this live, please feel free to shoot your questions. We will take every single question of yours. All right, chalo. Let's start with the SNAP preparation.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining this session. We, the students of SIDTM, welcome you to this live Q&A session wherein we try to clear all your doubts of SNAP, the exam pattern, the approach, and essentially optimizing your way of attempting this examination. But before we begin, we'd like to introduce ourselves. So, my name is Anirudh Khurana and I come from Noida. I did my BBA from CCS University in 2020, after which I worked for almost 2 years. And now I'm a first year student at SIDTM. Amrit, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Anirudh. Good evening, everyone. My name is Amrit Kuchru. I belong to Jammu City, Jammu and Kashmir. I did my mechanical engineering from DIT University, Dadar. And after that, I have a work experience of almost 1 year. And now here I am, the first year student in SIDTM.
Thanks, Amrit. So now that we are so close to all our MBA examinations, we are essentially in the MBA exam season, and hence we have decided to help you all with the SNAP preparation. So in collaboration with Ketan sir from C2C Mentors, we hope this session is helpful for all of those who have joined.
Perfect.
So I'll be taking you through the timeline for the SNAP registration. And most of the students who are joining, they already know that the registration has started. That's why they are here. So as you know, the registration commenced on August 4th, 2022. And the last day to register and pay for your respective institutes is November 24th. Guys, please be careful. This is the last day to pay for all the institutes you have applied for. So be very careful here. And the admit card for SNAP Test 1 will go live on December 5. And the admit card for Test 2 and 3 will go live on December 10th. And here I would like to add a point. Take multiple copies of your admit card because you never know what might happen on the D-Day. You might misplace one or anything can happen. So be ready with that as well.
All right, perfect.
So the first SNAP examination is going to happen on the 10th of December from 2 to 3 p.m. Please note the timing would be the same for all of the examinations. So then we have the second test, which will be happening on the 18th of December, and the third test on the 23rd of December. All of the examinations end before Christmas, and the result would be on 10th of January. But please again note that the result date might change, but as of now, 10th of January is the result date. Now I'll be talking about the test structure, basically the things you should know before you attempt SNAP. So the first thing is 60 minutes, 60 questions. So SNAP is a time-based exam where you get only a minute for every question, since you have 60 questions in total and you only have 60 minutes to attempt them. So you need to be very quick when it comes to solving questions, and that too with good accuracy. SNAP is going to be a computer-based test, which means that you'll be allocated to a particular test center, which is nearest to your location. And again, please note that you will not be allowed any calculators inside the test center or any on-screen calculators. You have 1 mark for every correct answer and minus 0.25 for every wrong answer. So make sure to attempt only those questions which you are absolutely sure of in order to avoid any guesswork. So this year, SNAP is allowing up to 3 attempts for SNAP exam. I remember when I gave my SNAP examination last year, I had the chance of giving 2 out of any 3 test dates. I initially thought of giving only 1 attempt, but after consulting with some seniors, I realized that it would be beneficial for me if I gave a second attempt, because you never know what's going to happen in the exam. Maybe you're very nervous or unsure about the pattern in the first try. So you mess up your exam. So the second attempt would definitely help. And this year you can give up to 3 attempts. So the more the merrier situation applies here. This would ensure that you keep on performing even better after every test attempt of yours. Even if you don't perform well in one of the attempts, it's all right, because only the highest scores would be considered. Let's say you don't do well in your second or third attempt, but do well in your first attempt. So the highest scores from your first attempt would be considered final. Amrit, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Anirudh. So I'll be talking about the SNAP exam pattern now. So the SNAP exam has 3 sections, namely verbal ability, that is 15 questions, logical reasoning, that is 25 questions, and quantitative ability, that is 20 questions. So the best thing about SNAP exam is that there is no sectional cutoff. So you can focus on your strengths. Suppose I was weak in cons, so I always used to focus on the 25 questions in the logical reasoning section. That's how I used to optimize my SNAP exam and increase my score. And another thing is you can switch between sections. So that's again how you can play on your strengths. So guys, play on your strengths, switch between sections, attempt the section first you are very confident about. That is a strong area. So that can really help you crack the exam and increase your score. So the first section, as I mentioned, was verbal ability. So here you can see a glance of all the topics that might come under verbal ability. But still, I will divide this section into 3 subsections. The first one is reading comprehension, RCs. Now I know that Snap has not asked RCs for the last 2-3 years, but that does not mean you won't prepare for it. Because Snap is an exam that is full of surprises. So you never know what might happen this time, and you may see RC this time in Snap. So be prepared for that. And the second one is verbal reasoning, which is all the questions like blood relations, coding, decoding. And the third one is verbal ability. The level of difficulty for this section is just like your 8, 9, 10 standard, basic grammar, active, passive, spelling mistakes, and all that things. And now the tips for these sections will be explained by Anirudh.
Thanks, Amrit. So the first tip I would like to suggest you all is start learning new words every day. So I remember when I was preparing for my SNAP examination, I had a compendium of about 1500 to 2000 words, which I used to practice every day. I used to set a goal of 15 or 20 words where I used to learn them every day until the D-Day so that I could cover those 1500 to 2000 words. So practice every day, because vocabulary becomes a very important part of your SNAP exam. You just might get direct questions that what is the meaning of this particular word, and you might be given options. It's going to be very direct sometimes. So be thorough with your vocabulary. Second is develop a habit of reading. Like Amrit mentioned, we have not been having RCs for the past 2-3 years, but you never know that it just might come in one of the attempts of SNAP this year. So be prepared. Try to learn how to read as quickly as possible, because you only have 1 minute to solve each question. So you can't really waste your time reading the entire RC. You don't have the time for that. So you need to be very quick. The third thing is start revising the basics of English grammar. So usually what happens is that SNAP exam tries to confuse you with its grammar, but the level is slightly a notch above your 10th grade grammar. So you need to work on your basics and improve the foundations of English grammar so that you are not confused in the SNAP examination. Because again, verbal ability is not a joke. It's not easy. You have to be very punctual about what words are there, what is written. You have to understand the statement and then answer the question. So practice these kind of questions, which are a little notch above the grammar questions of 10th grade or 11th grade. And fourth is keep reading editorials. Now, reading editorials serves you 3 ways. It can help you with your vocabulary, because in editorials you can get a lot of new words. What I used to do, I used to mark the words and then I search them up on Google or dictionary, and I used to keep them in my compendium. Now, it can add up to your vocabulary. It can also add up to your reading skills. It will develop your reading skills. And finally, it can also improve your GK, which can help you in your GPI WOT process later. Next slide, please, Amrit. Now, in logical reasoning, we have a very, very vast syllabus. We have topics like blood relation, clocks, calendars, analogy, miscellaneous, binary logic, and whatnot. So LR has typically the highest range of syllabus. So start preparing and practicing for LR now itself. I remember I was very, very weak in clocks and calendars, and especially blood relations. I used to eat up so much of my time while attempting these that I could not finish my paper on time. Even after investing so much time, my accuracy was still really, really bad. So before the exam, I focused on my weak areas of LR extensively. And to my surprise, I got 2-3 blood relation questions in my exam, which I could do under a minute and I could solve correctly. So this can happen only through practice. Next slide, please, Amrit.
So as Anirudh was mentioning that logical reasoning was his weak area, but this was my strong area. So I'll be taking you through the tips for the logical reasoning section. So the first tip is practice as much as you can. So as the old saying goes, practice makes a man and a woman perfect. So practice as many questions as you can. Try different sectional mocks for logical reasoning, try different questions from online. So that will really help you in acing this section. And the second tip will be keep increasing the level of difficulty of questions. So when you're solving mocks, you can keep a timer. Try to apply different constraints that will help you test your level, and that will really help you to ace this section. And the third tip is practice puzzles or brain teasers to prep your brain. So what happens with logical reasoning section is that you have to develop a logical acumen to solve these questions in that pressure situation of snap exam. So when you practice it every day, when you solve Sudokus, you play online games, that will really develop your logical acumen. That will really help you to ace this section. And the fourth tip, always read the question carefully before beginning to solve. So see, it's not only the logical acumen that you need to solve this section, it's also the play with words, because logical reasoning does not only consist of logical questions, it consists of verbal reasoning as well. Let's say blood relations, it's not only a topic of logical reasoning, it's a topic of verbal reasoning as well. So what Snap does is it plays with the words. So if you're not able to arrive what the question is asking, you won't be able to arrive at the solution. So it's very important you understand the language of the question, you decode the question properly, and then surely you will arrive at the solution. And this is very important for this section. Moving on. And the last section, which is quantitative ability, which was not at all my my strength. So in this section, you can see these are very pretty basic topics that you studied in your 8th, 9th, 10th standard NCRT, like arithmetic, numbers, algebra, permutation and combinations. So that's pretty much it. The thing you have to keep in mind is you have to be very thorough with the basics, very thorough with the basics of quantitative ability, the formulas, the tips and tricks. That will really help you to ace this section. Now the tips for this will be shared by Anirudh.
Thanks, Amrit. So the first step would be to avoid using a calculator for solving questions. I know a lot of people right now, especially those who are weak in calculations or quantitative aptitude, like me and Amrit right here, might be using calculators to solve questions because other examinations allow the usage of calculators, but Snap does not. And to be honest, it is nothing to worry about, because the kind of questions that come in Snap for QA are not formula or calculation centric. It is more logic centric. So once you get the logic, then it is light work for you. Second would be to prepare a list of shortcuts. As Snap is a time-based exam, it is very important that you keep on trying to find ways to solve questions quicker. The questions, especially in Snap for QA, seem easy at first, so we start solving it through our formulas, basic formulas, but it eats up so much of our time. I remember I used to waste sometimes up to 3 minutes on one single question. This would cause me to not complete my paper on time. I would miss out on such easy questions which were coming later on in the exam. So try to find shortcuts for each and every topic, be it ratio, proportion, or mixture allegation. And third would be to practice previous year questions. So Snap has a habit of giving questions which are similar to the ones in previous year papers. So practicing that would help you boost your confidence. Moreover, you'll be familiar with the exam pattern on how to exactly go about your Snap on the D-Day. And the fourth would be to start practicing questions with a 1-minute timer, like Amrit has mentioned previously. Right now, we might be solving our questions of QA and we might be ending up with 1.5 or 2 minutes. We might be taking so much time. But please note, Snap, again, I'll be repeating it again and again. Snap is a time-based exam. You need to finish the questions in under a minute or lesser, because once you do that, you will be able to go through all of the questions that you have left, or maybe revise the entire paper. So please try to ensure that you finish your questions in under a minute. Next slide, please.
Yeah. So guys, I'll be taking you through the do's for your Snap exam. So the first one is keep a track of time while solving questions. Now I know we have said it several times, it's getting repetitive, that time. But again, Snap is a time intensive exam. Time here can be your best friend or your worst enemy. That depends on you. So guys, take control of your time while you're solving mocks. As I previously also mentioned, that keep a timer, keep a tracker of how much time you're taking to solve any question during mocks. That will really help you on the D-Day. And you will realize it later when you do it by maintaining your time. The second one is have a formula sheet for you to revise every day. Now, this is something I did personally during my Snap preparation. I had 3 dedicated notebooks for my logical reasoning, quantitative ability, and verbal ability section, in which I had mentioned all the formulas, all the tips and tricks, all the shortcuts that would help me to revise it on the final day. And that really helps you on the final preparation, on the revision when you are on your D-Day. So please do that. And the third one is understand the basics before moving to the complex questions. So it's pretty basic. Let's say you want to climb a mountain, you go one step at a time. So it's very important to be thorough with the basics, thorough with your concepts around all the three sections. So that's how you'll go one step at a time and you will surely climb the mountain. But that's very important to build your basics right. And the fourth one is start with the section you're most confident about. So as we previously mentioned, let's say quant was not my strong section. So I always used to start with logical reasoning. But that was a strategy that worked for me. That might not work for you. So you have to figure out your strategy by giving different mocks, try to use different strategies. Sometimes you may go for verbal section first, and that might work for you. Sometimes you may go for quantitative section first. So you have to figure that out what works for me and implement that on the D day to increase your score. The last step is keep finding methods to solve questions quicker. Now, this correlates to the point number 2, like having a formula sheet for all your tips and tricks. Now, if you keep revising your shortcuts, your formulas, tips, and tricks, it will definitely help you to solve questions quicker. And again, the time constraint again. So that will help you save time as well in the exam. Guys, 60 minutes and 60 questions. So time is really, really crucial here. So be very careful with that. Yeah, now the don'ts.
Yes. Thanks, Amrit. I remember when I joined SIDTM first, when I talked to Amrit, we both had a very weird common link. When we were talking, we just referred, where did you study for Snap? And we both said that we studied, we took the help of mocks from C2C mentors. And C2C mentors mocks really helped us to crack the Snap examination properly, because their mocks are probably the closest that I could ever see. I purchased different mocks, but C2C mocks were really great. When I actually worked on them, they were very close to the actual Snap exam. So the first don't would be to not waste time on one single question. Like I mentioned before, I was preparing for my mocks, and well, let's say I was stuck on one question, and it was happening mostly in quantitative aptitude and logical reasoning, where I used to feel that I'm this close to getting the answer done. So let me just clear the question and then I'll move to the next question. Please do not do that, because that will cause you to waste a lot of time. And what would happen is there would be a lot of easier questions later on, and you might just miss out an opportunity to attempt those. So if you don't know a certain question in one go, leave, mark for review and move on. And once you're done with the entire paper, come back again, take your time with it and solve. Second, do not scan the paper, pick your strategy and start solving. So while I was, giving mocks from C2C, I realized that my strategy initially was to go with QA and then LR and then verbal ability. So Snap gives you the ability to jump from section to section. But that was not working for me, because again, I was very weak in QA and I used to waste a lot of time. And verbal ability was my strong section, but I could not finish verbal ability in time because I wasted a lot of time in QA and LR. So I changed my strategy and I started with verbal ability, which I completed in under 6 or 7 minutes, sometimes 8 minutes. And the extra time and the confidence that I gained, I put it in QA. And after that, I did LR. So on the D-Day, I used this strategy, which is tailor-made for me. Now, you can have your own strategy. You can create your own strategy. So that can only happen if you keep on practicing through your mocks. Third would be to not guesswork, as it can lead to negative marking. If you're somebody who's aiming for a 99.99 percentile, just one loss of 0.25 marks, minus 0.25 marks, can lead you to a loss of a huge chunk of your percentile. So avoid any guesswork. Fourth would be to not overwork the night before the exam. Why I say this? Because once you're calm the night before the exam, once you're calm, you're composed, you will not be under a lot of pressure to crack the exam and everything. Because once you're in a lot of pressure, you might mess up. So be calm and composed. Just go through the basics, revise the notes, revise your important formulas, important questions the night before the exam. Do not start with something new. And this brings me to the fifth point, is that do not start with new topics in the last days of exam preparation. So the syllabus of Snap is vast. You need to be quick and you need to grasp a lot of topics. So what you have to do is 6 or 7 days, that is my personal suggestion, 6 or 7 days before the Snap examination, try to finish up with all of your subjects, all of the syllabus, because when you start with something new, you have to start with the basics and then move up to advanced, and you have to dive in deep. So try avoiding doing something new 6 or 7 days before, because let's say you start with something new, you can get confused because you have lesser time to revise now. So allocate 6 or 7 days completely for revision. Do not start with something new. Next, please, Amrit. Okay, So now I'll be talking a little about SIDTM and its specializations offered. So SIDTM, which is Symbiosis Institute of Digital and Telecom Management, was previously known as Symbiosis Institute of Telecom Management. But after the government renamed the National Telecommunications Policy in 2018 to National Digital Communications Policy, it was crucial for SITM to integrate the digital in its name. So it is SIDTM now. Especially right now with the onset of 5G having more business applications than any of its previous generations like 3G or 4G. This goes on to show how telecom and digital will go hand in hand in most of the organizations. So the students of SIDTM would be very well equipped to fit in any organization with the needs of, let's say, digital transformation, digital marketing, artificial intelligence, cloud, risk management, risk consulting. So the specializations offered at SIDTM are systems and finance, marketing and finance, and analytics and finance. So for that, the students get to pick their specializations before their second semester, and that is done through a process known as specialization allocation test. So we have one subject from systems, one from marketing, and one from analytics. These three subjects, we have a multiple choice question test, and based on the ranking that we get to choose our specializations. Amrit, can we have a look over the subjects, please?
Sure, Anirudh.
So these are all the subjects for systems on your screen: analytics and marketing and finance. We have IT strategy for systems. For analytics, we have visual analytics. For marketing, we have, let's say, supply chain management. So now, just to let you all guys know that just because you've taken one particular specialization, that won't mean that you'd be only stuck with the subjects of that specialization. You would be learning subjects from every specialization, be it marketing, systems, or analytics. It's just that we will be learning two of the subjects from our specialization in greater detail. So I, as a commerce student, has taken systems as a specialization, which is supposed to be more technical. And my friend Amrit, as an engineer, has taken marketing as a specialization. Now, it's not that Amrit won't be studying any systems related subjects or I won't be studying marketing at all. It's just that we will be taking up two subjects every semester that we'll be learning in greater detail from our specializations. So the curriculum at SIDTM is made based on the industry requirements, and what the industry needs right now are techno managers. Organizations need people who know the combination of business and technology, especially after COVID, when we saw there was such a dire need of digital transformation. So the curriculum is designed to make us very industry ready. One more thing which I feel is really good is that finance is a compulsory minor specialization here. I believe that everybody should have the knowledge of finance. It does not matter if you're doing an MBA in marketing or finance or HR. The understanding of finance is very, very crucial. It is important for, let's say, your personal finance, or when you are a manager of a company, you should have the ability to read financial statements. So nobody's expecting you to create balance sheets right from the scratch, but you should have the ability to read them in order to be an efficient manager. Now, we have a very, very diverse batch, and there are people from engineering background, non-engineers, commerce people, zoology, hotel management. So we have a very diverse batch, and because of it, we have something called bridge courses, where basics of any particular subject is taught. So we have engineers who are taught subjects like finance right from the scratch, and non-engineers are taught subjects like introduction to telecom technologies or any other technical subject. So this ensures that by the time students give our exams, we all are at par with each other, irrespective of the fact if you're an engineer or a non-engineer or any other non-tech background. So these are all the things that SIDTM offers to its students academically. Amrit, would you like to add something to this?
Yeah, sure, Anirudh. Thank you. So as you were mentioning about the subjects, so as the subjects you see here, like AWS, Cloud Solution Architect, AI/ML, these are all the subjects that are aligned with the latest industry trends and market opportunities. And that really sets you apart from the race from general MBA. So that is really something to look upon. And the term you use, techno manager. I believe that techno managers are the need for the future, and techno manager will always have an edge over a normal manager, because you can't run away from technology in today's era and the pace at which the world is moving. And apart from that, the curriculum you were talking about, I think that is the USP of SIDTM, because the curriculum at SIDTM is ever evolving. It's updating almost every year by discussion with the faculties and the alumni of the college. That is something really great about this college. And apart from that, we have value-added courses like you can see here, digital courses like digital forensics, digital risk management, and that really sets you apart as well. That gives you that extra level you need in your MBA. And moving on. Now, this is something everybody is always waiting for. The summer placement numbers for the batch 21 to 23. So as you can see, the highest stipend offered at SIDTM was 1,60,000. The average for top 25 was 90,980, and the average for top 50 was 75,250. Now note that these stipend amounts are in rupees, and this is here for the entire internship duration. Suppose you have an internship for 2 months or 3 months, so this is for that whole duration. And now moving on to the final placements. For the batch 2020 to 2022, the highest package offered at SIDTM was 29.04 lakh per annum, and average for top 25 was 19.66 lakh per annum, and the batch average was 11.63 lakh per annum. And now the question arises, a lot of people ask, what are the recruiters that hire from SIDTM? So here you can have a quick glance at all the recruiters that hire from SIDTM. You can see the big four like EY, Deloitte, KPMG, and from Voice, and all that. And if you want to go into deeper details, you want to dive into deeper analysis, you can always visit the SIDTM's website into the placement section.
So wish you all very best to all the people who are watching. And we now open the floor for some questions and answers for all of your snap doubts or any questions regarding SIDTM.
Hi, Anirudh and Amrit, thank you so very much. It was a great session. मुझे ना एक क्वेश्चन आप लोगों को पूछना था. काफी लोग कहते हैं कि ना स्नैप काफी इजी है, काफी इजी है, काफी इजी है, मतलब 1 घंटे का एग्जाम है, तो वो ना नंबर ऑफ आवर्स देखते हैं. आप लोगों ने एग्जाम दिया है, राइट? मैं आपको जेन्युइनली पूछता हूँ कि आप एक बार बच्चों को बता दो कि एग्जाम जेन्युइनली इजी है या मेहनत इसके लिए लगेगा. बिकॉज जब हम कहते हैं ना अरे 1 घंटे वाला एग्जाम ले, तो बच्चे ऐसा हल्के में ले लेते कि चलना हो जाएगा. प्लीज टेल देम.
No. Yeah, so Snap has a particular, so every exam that you give, you have a particular strategy for it. For any other exam, you have particular strategy where you have to attempt less and focus on the logic. Snap focuses on your time, and Snap focuses on your basic understanding of arithmetic and your logical reasoning and your verbal ability. But by basic, I don't mean that you study only 8th or 9th standard English and come up and just give. You need to be very thorough with the concepts, because what Snap does is, you may feel that the question is easy, but they can twist just a little, and you might lose out your marks. Again, there's negative marking, and just because of 1 minus 0.25, you can lose out on a lot of marks. You can lose out on your percentile, especially if you're aiming for 99.9.
Right.
Just because of my 1 minus 0.25, your percentile might get dropped to 98 or 97. You never know. So Snap is not at all easy. My personal thought would be, it is medium level, but you have to prepare very, very well. I prepared for at least 3-4 months properly in order to crack Snap.
Perfect. Okay. Probably we can take some questions from the chat box. Last year बच्चे कह रहे थे कि वेटलिस्ट मूवमेंट काफी कम हुआ था. मेरे ख्याल से थोड़े भाव बढ़ गए थे SIDTM के, है ना? कॉलेज फेमस हो गया था, एंड पीपल वर नॉट विथड्रॉइंग देयर एडमिशंस. मेरे ख्याल से दैट इज द रीजन ऑफ वेटलिस्ट मूवमेंट काफी कम हुआ. दैट इज माय नॉलेज. आप अगर कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन हो तो आप शेयर कर सकते हो बच्चों के साथ.
I think that is probably the reason why there was such a less, waitlist movement, because students wanted to be in SIDTM. They understood the importance of the digital and telecom combining together, and they basically understood how digital is going to impact every organization. Because of that, nobody tried to leave. The waitlist did not move at all. I am not sure about the number, but it was very, very minimal. So people have realized the importance of SIDTM. So like we say that future is here, future is here. Yes. And our digital oriented college, the technology oriented college is the future. It is here, and it is here to stay.
Digital is not only the future, it is the present as well. It is the present.
Absolutely.
So, and one more thing, I mean, like, this is what I want to share. Like, we've got like last 5-6 minutes. So one thing I want to share is, as far as SIDTM ka, peer group is concerned, like I was called for this panel discussion DigiCon ke liye, and I was thrilled to know that social media influencers अंदर है, बच्चों के startups जो है वो भी बच्चे वहाँ पे पढ़ रहे हैं. तो मेरे ख्याल से यार it's a very good peer group, because most of the time we kind of judge a B school basis the percentile. मेरे ख्याल से वो गलत बात है, because you really cannot say that कि percentile down है तो ऐसा नहीं होता. तो मेरे ख्याल से as whatever I have seen as far as SIDTM is concerned, the peer quality is really amazing. Anything else you guys want to share, you can do that. I'm just kind of just checking the questions if we have any. Mostly quants को लेके बच्चे पूछते हैं कि quants difficult होता है या क्या होता है, something like that.
See, we both mentioned it that our cons was not our strongest section, but still we
Right.
are here. So if we can, you can. You can work on your strengths on the other sections. You can work on logical reasoning. You can focus on verbal ability, and try to optimize the maximum you can do in the cons section.
एक क्वेश्चन मैं पूछूंगा बच्चों की तरफ से काफी बच्चों को ना कैट अभी अच्छा नहीं जा रहा है सो दे आर नॉट स्कोरिंग वेरी वेल सो दे आर स्कोर लाइक 50 परसेंटाइल 60 परसेंटाइल एंड दे आर वेरी स्केयर्ड ऑफ इट सो इज देयर एनी कनेक्शन कि अगर आपका कैट अच्छा नहीं होगा तो स्नैप भी अच्छा नहीं होगा इज देयर एनीथिंग लाइक दैट यू वांट टू मेक अ मेंशन अबाउट इट
No, absolutely not. The way you prepare for CAT is completely different, and the way you prepare for SNAP is completely different. Although, if you look on paper, the syllabus would be similar, but the way of attempting, the way of preparing SNAP is completely different. I prepared SNAP in a completely different way, and you need to be again, like I mentioned, you need to be quick and you need to know the concepts very, very well in order to crack SNAP. So you have to set aside CAT and SNAP completely. And if you, let's say, want to focus on SNAP, focus completely on SNAP. It requires a lot of focus.
Perfect. And guys, keep following the channel because there will be a lot of action happening on Snap. Even tonight, I'll be going live and I'll be taking a session as far as Snap is concerned. SIDTM ke Amrit ho gaya, Anirudh ho gaya, right? All these guys are going to be your, future seniors. And, I'm very sure they will be coming to C2C and they will be helping you all if you're a part of C2C mentors. But yeah, overall was a good session, Anirudh and Amrit. If you guys have any, kind of like 2 cents to share with the, future aspirants in last 2 minutes, should do that.
Sure, sir. One thing I would like to add is that, sir, while I was preparing, I was very nervous. I was looking for, my literal Google search was Snap mocks online, and I could not find anything good, which was, helping me to score more. But when I landed in onto your, when I subscribed to your mocks, it helped me a lot. And when I actually gave the examination, it was so very close to the actual paper. So your mocks and your
Thank you.
all free sessions have helped me so much. So
Thanks.
I would like to thank you so much for that.
Thanks, man. Thanks a lot. Guys, thank you so very much for joining in. We've got a good quorum, mere khayal se. And again, thank you so very much, Anirudh and Amrit. We'll have a couple of more sessions as and when we get close to a Snap, and I'll keep bothering you guys. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank
No
you so
problem,
much.
sir.
Take care. Have
Thank
fun.
you so much.
Bye.
We are really grateful.
Thank you so much.